me start by saying, wow, what a turnout for this volunteer recognition luncheon. Congratulations to the organizing committee. You've obviously done your work, but you also recognized how important volunteers are in our communities and in our province. I remember the saying that we always used was, volunteers are the heart of any community. I love your new theme, lifting communities. And that's what volunteers do. So the volunteer factor is such an important component of everything we do in the province that we love. So we're delighted to be here. His Honor and I were really pleased to be here, of course, as the patron. Where else would I be? But to be here to support the volunteer sector, and certainly to be here to take part in the events that are happening during Volunteer Week, which we know is a little later on in April. But we've got, I have to acknowledge Premier Ball and Mayor Breen, because I think we spend a lot of time together, and what's really important is that the time we spend together is when we're acknowledging special people like you, or we're at events together that are very uplifting events where we acknowledge again the accomplishments of people. So it's always good to be in their company. Acknowledge as well that we have Minister Davis here, we have Minister Hawkins here, and I see representatives from other organizations as well as other MHAs and members of council. It is so good to see all of you here, because I think it's a message we all need to send, that those of us who are in leadership roles need to be behind each and every one of you, encouraging you to make a difference. But having said that, of course, you are all leaders yourselves, because you take the lead in volunteering in our province. We all know there's a long history of volunteerism in Newfoundland and Labrador. And I'm from rural Newfoundland and Labrador, so I know only too well what volunteers mean in our small rural communities. Many of them would not exist without the volunteers, without those who make a difference every day in our communities. And of course, it's the same in our cities as well, whether we're talking St. John's, Corner Brook, or Mount Pearl. Volunteers are such an important component of everything that we do. Stats Canada, 2015, I think is the most recent stats, say that 46% of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians volunteer in some capacity. That means, based on that number, that we give 30 million volunteer hours each year. 30 million. So all of you who volunteer your time can pat yourselves on the back, because you know that that amount of effort and that amount of time really does make a difference. It's our young people that I'm really excited about and where they are when it comes to volunteering. We have an aging population, which all of you know. And we have some issues that we have to deal with because of that aging population. But our young people are certainly doing their part. And for those of you who don't know, 60% of Newfoundland and Labrador youth between the ages of 15 and 24 years of age volunteer. And I'm looking at my ADC here, Rainey Mackey, who volunteers all the time for everything. And I'm so very proud of her. It's particularly important that we continue to encourage our young people to volunteer. And in January, I don't know how many of you are aware, but in January, I had the opportunity to meet many of the amazing young volunteers at Memorial University. They are volunteering through their university careers as part of volunteer incentive program. We went there because they were being recognized for different levels, whether it was a bronze, silver, gold, or platinum level. So that will tell you how much effort they have to put into their volunteer efforts. And they were all recognized. And what was really encouraging was the diversity of the students there who volunteer. And they volunteer throughout our province, throughout St. John's in particular, for different organizations. And I was so impressed with them, and all I could think was, our province is indeed in good hands, because they continue to volunteer. I want to mention one thing to you, because I think not a lot of people realize this, but there are recognitions, apart from wonderful events like this, for volunteers. And I mention this all the time because I don't think we're taking advantage of an opportunity to recognize the volunteers in Newfoundland and Labrador. there's a medal called the Sovereign's Volunteer Medal. And it is a medal that's given on behalf of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II by the Governor General. And when the Governor General can't do it in Newfoundland and Labrador, then I do it as the Queen's representative. But all you need to do is go on the Government House website and go into Honors and Awards, and you will find there all of the official honors for Canada. If you go in and click on them, one of them is the Sovereign's Volunteer Medal. And what was really telling for me when I became the LG was that to date, 4,632 medals have been awarded of the Sovereign's Volunteer Medal. Only 104 in Newfoundland and Labrador. Look at this room. We're not doing what we need to do, not that we volunteer to be recognized, but why not acknowledge those who do so much to make a difference in our province? So I'm going to ask everyone here to go on the website, go in, find Honors and Awards. You can download the nomination form and nominate someone, because I can't nominate. So I'm depending on all of you to get involved in that process and see if we can't be acknowledging those in a way that is open to them. So I encourage you to do that. Penny row. When we think of volunteerism, we think penny row. In my previous lives, I've run into Penny Row so many times, and it's always because she wants to make things better, to make a difference in our province, and because she is so engaged in the volunteer sector. So I would like for a round of applause for Penny Row, who's been amazing. Those of you who know me know I like strong women. So Penny, my hat is off to you for all that you've done throughout your career, that you continue to do to make this province a much better place. I look forward to being engaged during Volunteer Week, which is April 7th to the 13th. We're doing the reception at Government House on April the 8th. I'm hoping to see those of you who will be invited there to join us. But I'm also looking forward to being in Port Union for a regional volunteer recognition, and that's on April the 9th. So it's going to be a busy time, but there's nowhere I'd rather be, or nothing I'd rather be doing more so than acknowledging our volunteers, which is why I'm here today, joining others who are here to pay respects to you and all that you do to make a difference. Thank you.